Now, the other day, one of the biggest trades in NHL history happened where Mikko Rantanen was sent over to the Carolina Hurricanes for Marty Necas, Jack Drury, a second rounder, and a fourth rounder. A third round pick was then sent over to the Chicago Blackhawks, in which the Carolina Hurricanes would get Taylor Hall. So two big additions for the Carolina Hurricanes, of course the biggest one being Mikko Rantanen. Very rarely do we ever see a trade this big happening during the season. Like, I can't recall the last time I saw a trade this big. The closest thing I can think of is the Shea Weber PK Subban deal, but that happened over the offseason. It didn't happen mid-season. We never see trades like this happen mid-season, but the Carolina Hurricanes made a big one, and they're going for a Stanley Cup this season. The team is looking absolutely incredible, and with the addition of Mikko Rantanen, they're going to be looking even better. So that being said, I think it's about time I take over the Carolina Hurricanes, and over the next 5 years, we're going to try to win this team multiple Stanley Cups. They already have an amazing core here, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Now, for year number 1, to make it somewhat fair here, considering the Carolina Hurricanes did pick up Mikko Rantanen, I'm going to simulate up to the trade deadline, and only then am I going to be allowed to make moves. I'm going to be allowed to make a couple moves at the trade deadline, and then I'm going to be able to give Mikko Rantanen his extension, because of course I want to keep Mikko Rantanen on this team. But while we have a conversation with Brian Brittamore, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Obviously, we're trying to hit 74k by the end of the month, and there's actually a very good chance that right now we're already at 74k. So if that's the case, let's try to get to 75k with only 4 days left, because that's incredibly reasonable. So with Mikko Rantanen on the Carolina Hurricanes from the very start of the season, we're currently third in the NHL with a 42-15-6 record. We have one of the better offenses in the league at 3.65 with an absolutely spectacular defense, so you know Carolina's going to put up a big fight in the postseason. Mikko Rantanen, spectacular so far. 45 goals, 44 helpers for 89 points. Sebastian Aho, 86 points. Svechnikov's got 76. Seth Jarvis, Taylor Hall, Jack Roslovic, everyone's looking elite right now. And then when it comes to goaltenders, you saw what our goals against was, so obviously the goaltending's got to be great here. Freddie Anderson, 38 wins, 3 shots, a 915 to 255. The Carolina Hurricanes are absolutely locked in right now. Clearly we're going to be a Stanley Cup favorite, but I think we can make this team slightly better. So let's go ahead and make a couple moves. So Jesper Kotkaniemi, originally you were in that Mikko Rantanen deal, or that's what was reported. Clearly that didn't happen. You're still in the Carolina Hurricanes, but I am still looking to move you. You're a bottom 6 player for us. I don't really think paying you 4.6 million is the move here. So I'm going to send you over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We get Boone Jenner. He can play on the second line for this season. Then more likely over the offseason, we'll just move him. We're freeing up about 800k in this deal, which is going to be good because we do have to bring Mikko Rantanen back to the team. I like this deal right here. We'll throw a couple draft picks in the deal. You already gave up a handful of draft picks when you brought Mikko Rantanen in, but you know what? You still have a couple more. So I'll throw a 5th and 6th rounder, and that should be enough for Boone Jenner. Okay, this is a really difficult deal because I don't know how much money we're going to have left after we bring Buchnevich to the team, but I like Buchnevich. I think Buchnevich would be a good pickup for this team. He could play some good second line minutes. Him and Seth Jarvis together would actually be pretty solid. He has a no movement clause after this season. Then he's going to be getting paid about 7.5 million or 8.5 million. I can't remember the exact amount, but Buchnevich would be pretty good. 29 years old. We'll have him for the rest of the rebuild. We're going to build a really good top 6 here. Buchnevich, welcome to the team. Jack Roslovic, you'll walk into free agency, but we're going to have enough money for everybody here. But now that we're done at the trade deadline, Mikko Rantanen, I can finally give you your extension. Now, I believe we should have enough money for you. I probably should have checked a lot earlier if we had enough money, but I believe we should. Oh yeah, we have tons of money. So how does 12.8 for the next 7 seasons sound? We're going to save about $2 million by giving you the no movement. Mikko Rantanen, welcome back to the team, and that's still going to give us $10 million to work with. So with $10 million, Dmitry Orlov's probably going to leave the team. Brett Burns will probably leave the team here. Eric Robinson's going to leave the team. Jack Roslovic will. We're going to lose a lot of guys over the offseason, but you know what? We have a lot of the important pieces together still. Dmitry Orlov, I might as well just check and see what you're looking for here. You want 5.9 million. I don't hate this deal because you are an 87 overall and you're not too bad here, but I think we'll let you walk. Brett Burns, you're certainly going to be walking. Eric Robinson, what are you looking for? 2.4 million is actually not that bad considering you're an 84 overall. So how about we do 2.2 million? That's a pretty good contract for you. So Eric Robinson's going to be sticking around. Jack Roslovic, I said I was going to bring you back. Barring the price, 4.7 million is definitely not that price tag. Jesper Fast, where you can be looking for 2.5 million. That's not too bad to play in the bottom 6, but you are 33 years old, so I think you're going to age out pretty quick. Taylor Hall, we're just going to let you walk into free agency. Tyson Jost, I'll give you a contract. Depending on what you're looking for, that's a bit too much, so maybe we'll let you walk. And then when it comes to Freddie Anderson, thank you for all the amazing times here, but I'm going to let you walk because Coach Chekhov's going to be taking over sooner than later. Alright, so here's what the new lineup's looking like. Of course, the first line's going to stay the same because that's incredible, but on the second line, Seth Jarvis, Boone Jenner, Buchnevich. Now that's a line that's definitely going to produce for you. The bottom 6 is looking great here, and of course I didn't touch the defense. We're one of the best defensive teams in the league, so I'm not going to adjust that. The boys are going to lock in here. They're going to finish the season out strong, then we're going to go get a Stanley Cup. Now Carolina had a strong finish to the season, 3rd in the entire league, a 55-19-8 record, one of the better offenses in the league. Were we a top 3 offensive team? team, 3rd in the league offensively, and then when it came to the defense, we were definitely a top defensive team, 4th in defense. We should have been better than 1st in the entire league. Maybe not. I take that back. I was going to say we should have been better than 3rd, but then Florida's defense was better than ours, but their offense was slightly worse. Meanwhile, the Vancouver Canucks were better offensively than us and better defensively than us. So yeah, 3rd in the entire league actually makes a lot of sense. What Mikko Rantanen did this season, unbelievable. 61 goals, 58 assists for 119 points. Sebastian Aho 111 points, Svechnikov 94 points, Buchnevich is finishing with 67. But what did he do since we acquired him? 8 goals, 14 assists, 22 points on that second line. Him and Seth Jarvis are going to do some big things in the future. Taylor Hall was great this season. Roslovic was great this season. But this team has to win right now. We don't have too much time with this team. We got to win right now. I mean, granted, we have 5 full years and we're definitely going to be competitive throughout those 5 years. But I'm not sure if we're going to have a better team than we have in year number 1 because everyone's on amazing contracts right now and everyone's getting paid next season. So we're not going to have nearly as much money. We're taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. Whatever you do, do not lose to Toronto in the first round. All right, here we go, Carolina. It's time for you guys to lock in. We're not losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Whatever you do, do not lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs here. We're not doing that. We're winning game number 1, but we're dropping game 2 5-1. That's not great considering we had one of the best defenses and our defense is folding. Please don't do this. Whatever you do, don't lose in the first round to the Toronto Maple Leafs. We don't lose in the first round to the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs lose in the first round. We split the series so far with Toronto. Game number 5 is going to be a big one. I feel like the simulation's slower than normal here, but maybe I'm just tweaking. Maybe it's actually not slower. We got game number 6. It's an elimination game. Can we eliminate the Toronto Maple Leafs? Of course we can. A dominating game, 7-1. We're off to the second round. So we got past the Toronto Maple Leafs in round number 1. We get to take on the Washington Capitals, and the man that just secured his bag, shout out to Logan Thompson. A nice little 6x6 for him. He deserves it. He also should be Canada's starting goaltender for the 4 nations, but that's a conversation for another day. As much as Benner's my guy, and I believe in Benner, and I think with a good team in front of him, Benner can do great things. Benner has not been elite this season. I mean, he's been good considering the team in front of him. Okay, we're getting smoked by Washington right now. We got to focus up. But compared to some of the other goaltenders in 4 nations, Benner's not in that same category. Like, truthfully, I think the USA has 3 goaltenders that are better than our starting goaltender. Not a great sign. I feel like Sweden has really good goaltending. Finland has really good goaltending. That's Canada's weak spot, but I think everybody knew that heading into the tournament. If Canada was going to lack in one department, it was going to be the goaltending. But you know what? We'll talk about that later. The 4 nations aren't even here yet. Carolina's taking on Tampa in the conference finals. Can this team make it to the Stanley Cup finals? It's been a long time since they made it there. We split the series so far with Tampa. Game number 5 is going to be a big one. A massive 3-1 victory. Can we close it out and move on to the Stanley Cup final? We got to go to game 7. Tampa's staying alive here. Tampa, please don't beat us here. Like Carolina, we have such a good team, and I really don't want to be folding in the conference finals. Mikko Rantanen picking up a massive goal in the first period. Taylor Hall in the second period. We are bound to win this game. We got to hold it down, and Jack Roslovic's going to pick up that insurance goal. We've made it to the Stanley Cup final. Okay, hold on. We have to talk about something real quick here that I just noticed. Yes, this is a very realistic Stanley Cup final. Edmonton taking on Carolina. But how in the world did the Chicago Blackhawks make it to the second round and force the LA Kings to 7 games after beating the Colorado Avalanche in 7 games? What are we talking about? Also, the entire West went to 7 games. Just want to point that out. But yeah, how in the world did Chicago make it to the second round? I've seen some stupid things when making videos on this game, but that might be one of the stupidest. Chicago, after losing Taylor Hall, like granted, they lost Taylor Hall, so they are a worse team. Like, they're already a really bad team, but without Taylor Hall, they're even worse. They made it to the second round. We're about to take down the Edmonton Oilers. We are 1 game away from being Stanley Cup champions. Year number 1. Year number 1 with the Carolina Hurricanes. We're Stanley Cup champions. We're going for a 5-peat. We've set the standard. Win as much as you can. We did that in year number 1. Now let's go win 4 more. I am setting incredibly realistic expectations. A 5-peat, anybody can do that. Buchnevich, 33 points in the postseason. What a pickup that was. Mikko Rantanen, 32, 19 goals, 13 assists. Sebastian Aho, 25. Svechnikov, 21. Seth Jarvis, 19. Jesper Foss, 17. Boone Jenner picking up 15. We made all the right moves here. Every move I made was the right move. Freddie Anderson, yeah, you want us to Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, going to be leaving the team. Kochetkov's going to be taking over. What overall is Kochetkov? He's an 85. He can be the starter for us next season. Everything is going the Carolina Hurricanes' way right now. And you know what? We're going to try to run it back with a majority of the same pieces. All right, so I'm thinking we're going to try to move back in the draft. With the 32nd overall pick, we're not going to get too much. However, if we move back to the 49th, there's a decent enough prospect if we get lucky. We're also going to be getting a future second round from the Winnipeg Jets. So 2 valuable picks for us. But if we get the guy I'm hoping hoping we get here. It could work out for us, but it also could be a massive bust. I mean, it's not really going to be that massive of a bust, but Jeff Hendry, you're going to be available, not Joe Hendry, but Jeff Hendry. Do you have low elite potential? Yes, you do, and you're a 79 overall. What a selection. This might be one of the best draft picks I've ever done in my life. 79 overall in the second round. The 49th overall, we got a 79 with low elite potential. What an absolute steal. No, that's what you call elite drafting right there. Moving back 15 spots, getting a future second rounder while having to give up the 224th, and you get a 79 overall with low elite potential. No, we take those. We certainly take those. And before I find out Jeff Hendry is actually a real person and that wasn't an auto-generated prospect, there is a good chance that happened. Like, never forget when I thought Quentin Musty was a made-up person. Now he's a part of the San Jose Sharks organization, so shout out to Quentin Musty. Don't know why we're showing out Quentin Musty in this video, but we are. So we had some amazing selections. We did some great drafting. And you know what? I didn't realize we still have $14 million in cap space. So with that being said, Brett Burns, for one more season, I wouldn't be against bringing you back to the team here. Like, if we can get Brett Burns for under $5 million and I give him a no movement, why would we not do that? So Brett Burns, would you be willing to come back? Yes, you would. And that no movement gets your interest up quite a bit here. Could we do 4.8 million? 4.8 for Brett Burns? Why not? He's still an 87 overall. He's going to be a serviceable enough defenseman for us. Taylor Hall, I'm assuming you're going to want a multi-year deal, so we probably won't bring you back. Yeah, I can't do that. Dmitry Orlov, where are you going to be looking at? 5.1 million? That's not terrible. And you know what? If I don't have to give you a no movement or anything and we can do 4.8, actually, this might be happening. Dmitry Orlov, you might return to the team. Could we do 4.4 for you? I'm going to offer you 4.4. And if you accept that, I'm perfectly fine with bringing you back to the team here. So can we get both these guys? Brett Burns is sticking around, and so is Dmitry Orlov. Okay, we're not going to have to do nearly as much to this team as I thought. And you know what, Jesper Frost, I'll bring you back to the team as well because you actually performed really good last season. You stepped up in the big moments. So 2.1 for 2 years, why not? So majority of the important pieces are coming back. We're going to lose Tyson Yost. We're losing Jack Roslovic. We're losing Taylor Hall. On top of that, we're losing our Stanley Cup goaltender in Freddie Anderson. But it's the Kochetkov show and it's time for him to take over. So we got 5.8 million to work with here. And I think if we're going to do anything, it's just going to be 1 year deals. I don't really want to be signing anybody long term. Cam Atkinson for the bottom six, I don't really think you fit the role there. Who else is interested in a 1 year deal? Blake Wheeler. I don't really want to do Blake Wheeler. I don't think that's the move for us. Morgan Frost. I don't hate that. I would not hate Morgan Frost in our bottom six whatsoever. But 3.1 million, it's a little bit expensive. I'll come back to Morgan Frost, but that could be the move. Justin Brazeau, I'll certainly bring you to the team. So we're going to do $2 million for Justin Brazeau, and then maybe we will give Morgan Frost $3 million. If we do $3 million for Morgan Frost, then we'll bring in those two players right there, and then that'll be the rest of our bottom six. So Justin Brazeau, welcome to the team. Morgan Frost, welcome to the team. Let's go win a Stanley Cup. Or hand out some extensions. Probably should double check that. So who actually needs an extension here? Brett Burns is going to be walking at the end of the season. I'm okay with that. Boone Jenner, I actually am okay with that. Brazeau, Morgan Frost, there are no big extensions to give out. Carolina, your salary cap situation is impeccable. I mean, Boone Jenner, I would not be against this deal. 2.7 million. I'll give you 2.8 million for the next 3 years. If you turn to eventual bottom six piece for us, I'm okay with that. That's a good deal. I like that right there. So Carolina, you look spectacular last season. We won a Stanley Cup with this core right here, and we kept a majority of the important pieces around. Of the players we did lose, we got some improvements. Morgan Frost, Justin Brazeau, they're going to be helping this team quite a bit. When it comes to the defense, Jacob Slavin, Brett Burns, Sean Walker, Shane Gostisbehere, you already know how it works here. Dmitry Orlov on the third pairing. We have such a good defense, it's actually ridiculous. And on top of having a great defense, we have 86 overall Kochetkov in between the pipes. Yeah, he only has medium start potential, but he's got that dog in him. He's going to perform this season, and we're looking to go back to back with two different goaltenders. You never know, depending on how I'm feeling, Spencer Martin, you might be the starter next season. You might take over net, and you might help us win a Stanley Cup. Okay, I'm not going to get crazy here by any means, but you know what? It could happen. I can guarantee you it won't happen, but you never know. Actually, you do know. It's not happening. So even with the small adjustments we made, the Carolina Hurricanes are still looking incredible. A 42-17-4 record at the trade deadline, 3.76 goals per game, only allowing 2.78, and I believe that is one of the best defenses here. The third best defense. We have an amazing offense. It's basically the same team as last season. Sebastian Aho is leading the way though with 80 points. Mikko Rantanen is going to be right behind him, 76 points. Then it's going to be Buchnevich, Svechnikov, Seth Jarvis, Shane Gostisbehere is going to be leading the defense. This team's looking great, and the goaltending's looking spectacular here. I would like Kochetkov to have slightly better numbers, but we'll take what we can get around here. Now, if we are going to make a move, we're just picking up somebody for the bottom six here, but I'm really liking how the teams are looking. Or do we look for a better second line centerman? That wouldn't be a bad pickup either. Let's go see what's available. Okay, now we're going to try to pull off a high risk, high reward move. Morgan Frost, we picked you up in free agency, but I think Trevor Zegras could turn to a really good player for us. We put him on the second line. He'll be a decent enough playmaker for us. Let's get risky out here. Morgan Frost and a 4th round pick for Trevor Zegras Zegras. We have to give up a little bit more, probably a 7th rounder. Here's a 7th rounder for 2026. Trevor Zegras, welcome to the team. I'm going to give you the opportunity to play on an elite team here. You better live up to the hype. You also better accept a reasonable contract extension. Like, you're only an 84 overall. I'm not giving you $6 million or anything. I'm hoping we can sign you for maybe 5. So Trevor Zegras, how about we do this? $5.2 million for the next 3 years. You're going to be our second line centerman. That's a pretty solid deal. So Trevor Zegras, I'm going to give you an opportunity on the second line. You better not let me down. You, Seth Jarvis, and Buchnevich has the potential to be an incredible second line, but you better not let me down. I'm looking at you specifically. Seth Jarvis, Buchnevich, they've proved themselves. You haven't. You got to prove yourself with Carolina. Carolina had a really strong finish to the season, a 57-20-5 record to finish the season off, 3.89 goals per game, only allowing 2.51. That's going to be the best in the entire league here. We were even better after the trade deadline when it came to our defense, and defense wasn't even a weak point on this team. Offense isn't a weak point. There's nothing weak about this Carolina Hurricanes team. Trevor Zegras, there is one massive question mark about you. Can you be that second line centerman we need? Did you put up good numbers? 11 points in 19 games isn't great, but you were plus 11. So considering you're plus 11, I'll keep you on this team. That was the main reason I didn't give you a no movement. Kochekhov's numbers, he picked up 4 shutouts after the trade deadline. 4 shutouts for Kochekhov, a 914, a 251. He's ready for the postseason. That's the main reason I didn't give Trevor Zegras a no movement. If he didn't perform on the second line, we were going to be moving him. But you know what? He performed, so he's staying on this team. We got the Boston Bruins in the first round. Let's keep the postseason winning streak going. Okay, I just want to point something out. In our final 3 games heading up to the postseason, we had 3 straight shutouts. A 5-0 victory, a 7-0 victory, a 4-0 victory, and we proceed to allow 7 goals in game number 1. We're down 2-1 in this series right now. What happened to that elite defense? What is going on with this team? We're choking. Like 5-0, 7-0, 4-0. We picked up 16 goals in a 3-game span and didn't allow any goals, and now we're down 3-1 to the Boston Bruins. Life comes at you fast. In the final 2 weeks of the season, we had 4 shutouts, and now we're about to lose to the Boston Bruins. We're really about to lose to the Boston Bruins. We got shut out. Isn't that ironic? No, like seriously, in our final 8 games, we had 4 shutouts. We beat the Ottawa Senators 3-0, beat the New York Rangers 5-0, beat the New Jersey Devils 7-0, then beat the Philadelphia Flyers 4-0. Then we allowed 7 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals, and the offense vanished. We didn't score any goals. 16 goals in this 3-game span. In this 5-game span, we scored 10. We scored 10 goals in the course of a 5-game series, but we scored 16 in these 3 games. No, the lights were too bright, I guess. Were the lights too bright for Kochekhov, or were the lights just too bright for the repeat here? Because I feel like we didn't perform that bad. I mean, the offense was absolutely abysmal. Goaltending was terrible from Kochekhov. No, that's a tough loss to process right there. 3 more years left in the rebuild. Let's at least finish it off with a 3-peat. So to finish the postseason off, Tampa's winning the Stanley Cup, taking down the Carolina Hurricanes. Chicago somehow made the postseason again. That's back-to-back seasons we've seen the Chicago Blackhawks. How is this team making the playoffs? It just doesn't make sense. Now, I will say, this was an incredibly forgettable draft for us. We did terrible scouting. I don't know what our scouts were cooking up, but they were cooking up a whole lot of nothing. Medium bottom 6, that's basically the best thing we got here. So we have $9 million in cap space here. So Brett Burns, I'm looking at you again. You're 41 years old, but if we could bring you in for 1 season, I'm not against it. 7.7 million seems like a little bit much here, but with a no movement, we could probably get that down quite a bit. So if we went down to 6 million with a no movement, I think Brett Burns would be willing to accept that. So 6 million with a no movement was a little bit low, but how about 6.2 with a no movement? We bring Brett Burns back for 1 more season with the team, and we go on another deep run. Brazeau, you're probably going to be leaving the team here. Blake, we can bring you back, and we could probably do a pretty reasonable deal. How about we do 3 years? I'll do 3 years at $975K. You're an 80 overall, so you can play on the bottom 6. That's going to be a really good deal right there. Brazeau, out of all the players we have on this team, more than likely you're going to be the guy walking, and I think that's going to be the case here. Because we have to make sure that we have enough space for this unsigned rookie. Jeff Hendry's joined the team at 79 overall. He'll play on the 4th line. He can play some good bottom 6 minutes for us. And by signing him this season and not last season, we'll be able to hold on to him for the rest of the rebuild. Now, because the Carolina Hurricanes do such a great job with their cap space, we don't have too many players that we need to re-sign to big deals. Shane Gostisbehere is going to be one of them, and how much is he looking for? $8.6 million. Do I want to give Shane Gostisbehere $8.6 million, or do we move him and try to get a bit of a younger defenseman here? Like, we have a lot of older players on this team, so picking up a younger guy might not be a bad decision. When it comes to goaltending, of course, Kochekhov has to stick around, so let's make sure that we lock him down. So this is the deal I'm looking at with Kochekhov. I'm going to do 6.5 for the next 6 with a no movement. We're going to do a little bit less than that. How about 6.3? 6.3 for the next 6 for Kochekhov. That's a deal I can certainly work work with. So Brett Burns, we already know is going to be walking at the end of the season. Shane Gostisbehere might get traded away. Jesper Fast is going to ride out that contract. Eric Robinson, I think we're just going to ride out your contract as well. I don't really want to give you 3.7, especially play bottom 6 minutes. Jordan Stahl will ride out your contract as well. And then Chatfield, if we can re-sign you for a cheap price, I'm not really feeling 3.7, so I think you'll be walking as well. As long as we have the important pieces locked down, we're going to be all right here. But I think we are going to make a couple trades. So maybe we will keep Shane Gostisbehere around. If we do 7.2 for the next 3 with the no movement, we'll be able to keep him on this team and at a pretty reasonable price for what he produces. He's an 87 overall. As long as he doesn't regress quickly, he'll be good for the rest of the video. Now the Carolina Hurricanes are looking pretty elite right now. Sebastian Aho, Mikko Rantanen, Svechnikov, Buchnevich, Trevor Zegras, Seth Jarvis. The bottom 6 looking the best it's ever been. Even looking at the defense here, the defense is in an incredible spot. And I believe Shane Gostisbehere's dropped 1 overall. That contract's already been a terrible signing. Why did I sign him to that deal? I'm not really too sure. But you know what? We gotta live with it now. Considering everything though, I mean, even with the regression, the defense still looks really good. And then goaltending, the best it's ever been since year number 1. Kochekhov's an 87 overall, 3 X factors. This team's ready to bounce back from that massive disappointment. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I thought we'd be better at this point in the season. A 38-16-8 record isn't bad. We're second in the entire league, but I thought we would have at least 40 wins. The defense isn't as good as I thought it would be. It's actually taken a big step back, and now I'm a little bit concerned. So Shane Gostisbehere, your no movement clause doesn't kick in until next season. Do we make a move here? I think we might have to make a trade. Aho, Rantanen, Buchnevich, Svechnikov, Seth Jarvis, Trevor Zegras, all of you guys are looking not too bad. Trevor Zegras, I was kind of hoping a bit more from you, but you know what? I'll give you a bit more time here. Shane Gostisbehere, I think we got to move on from you while we can. You're 33 years old. You've declined 2 overalls. Yeah, we're trading Shane Gostisbehere. We got to move on from that no movement real quick. Kochetkov, your goals against is below 3, but your save percentage is below 900. Those two numbers normally don't go together. But yeah, Shane Gostisbehere, you're out the door as we speak. I'm a bit mad we didn't trade him earlier because his trade value has dropped here, but we can still bring in a good enough defenseman. All right, so I think this could be the play here. Shane Gostisbehere and Chatfield, along with 2 third-round picks sent over to the Rangers. We bring in Keandre Miller and we bring in Braden Schneider. These are going to be 2 good defensemen that are certainly going to help us win this season, and they're not going to be regressing anytime soon. I am so incredibly surprised they accepted that on the dot. Okay, yeah, that actually worked out really well for us. So what our defense is going to be looking like in the future, it's going to be Jacob Slavin, Braden Schneider, Keandre Miller, Sean Walker. That's going to be our top 4. We're still going to have Dmitry Orlov here, so he could probably play some third pairing minutes, or Sean Walker plays on the third pairing. I really don't care who does. But yeah, we're going to keep these 5 defensemen around, and then we'll just go ahead and find our 6th defenseman in free agency. So yeah, that's a big time move that certainly worked out for us, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't think it would work out for us. So Carolina's going to finish second in the entire league, a 50-22-10 record. We were a bit better after the trade deadline. The offense is still looking good, 3.72. Meanwhile, the defense, still question mark for this team. 3.12 goals allowed. I think that's a bit too much here. Sebastian Aho, 100 points. Mikko Rantanen, 99. Buchnevich, 87. Seth Jarvis, 72. Trevor Zegras, 70. So the offense on this team is rolling here. The bottom 6 is a bit of a concern, like Boone Jenner, minus 14. Jesper Fast, minus 15. But you know what? In the big time moments, this team's going to step up. Okay, never mind. I have to take it all back. An 897 and a 303. Kochetkov, you better prove that you're a postseason performer, because the regular season numbers, they're not looking too good. We got the Buffalo Sabres in the first round. I refuse to lose to Buffalo. Like, the Buffalo Sabres don't have it like we do. We're not going to lose to this team. We're going to lock in and we're going to sweep them. We drop game number 1. What are we doing here? Don't drop game 2. We have to respond in game 2. A big 7-4 victory. Why are we down in this series? Y'all better not be trailing 3-1 after game number 4. We're going to steal that one away, but you know what? I don't know what it's been. Is it offense? Is it defense? I think it's a little bit of both right now. Neither have been that good. We're facing elimination. Why am I not surprised? We had dreams of a 5-peat, and we're about to get knocked out in the first round in back-to-back seasons. We have to hold it down the third period. That's going to be the most important one, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to be taking this game 5-1. So it all comes down to game 7. This one's going to win the series. We have to be perfect in this game. Svechnikov's going to be picking up the first goal. We're picking up 2 in the second period. This game's all over. A 6-0 victory. Not only was the offense elite, so was the defense. This team's ready for the second round. So we beat the Buffalo Sabres. We were down 3-2 in the series, but we still made the comeback. We're moving on to the Pittsburgh Penguins. If we play like we did in those final 2 games against Buffalo, no one will be able to beat us. But right now, we're just incredibly inconsistent. So y'all better figure out how you're going to play here. Are you going to play consistent, or are you going to be not consistent? Well, we won the first 2 games. That's not really great. That's actually inconsistent. We are just very inconsistent. Well, I mean, we're consistent consistently inconsistent. So does that mean we're consistent or not consistent? I don't think it really matters. We're in the same boat as the Buffalo series. We got to make the comeback. Like, the problem is when we win a game, it's not like we dominate or anything. We allow 5 goals but just outscore them by scoring 6. And that's not a way you can win games here. We need to score the overtime winner. If we don't, we lose and we're eliminated. We're eliminated. Brian Russ is going to be taking us down. The Carolina Hurricanes are following. Like, we scored 5 goals here, but we allowed 4. That's not great. We allowed 4 here, only scored 3. A 6-1 victory was basically our only good game. And then the other 2, we just weren't good enough. So Tampa's going to go on another deep run, but they're not going to be able to win the Stanley Cup. The Winnipeg Jets can be taken at home. 2 more seasons for the Carolina Hurricanes. We got to repeat. This season, we should have won. Just based on the offense alone, we probably should have won. We were inconsistent, though, and that's going to be hurting us. It also doesn't help that basically outside the first line, nobody could score on this team. Not a great sign for the future. And then Kochetkov, I want to take it back. You were actually incredible. You stepped up when it mattered. A 917 to 246. The offense just has to be better from the bottom 6. The top guys perform. It was just the bottom 6 that let us down. So we're going to drop back in the draft here from the 59th overall to the 88th. We're also going to get a future 3rd round pick in the deal. Or at least I was kind of hoping we'd be able to do that, but I guess we have to give up a 7th round pick as well. I'm perfectly fine with doing that as long as we get the player that I'm looking for. Now, it is a bit of a risk, but this guy is a gem. Now, does he have medium league potential? Well, I guess we're about to find that out. Are we going to be getting a great player here? Are we going to be getting finessed? We didn't necessarily get finessed here, but at least he has medium top 6 potential. So it's better than bottom 6, but I certainly would have preferred a medium league potential player there. So we have a couple expiring free agents here. Jesper Fast, Eric Robinson, Jordan Stahl. Jesper Fast and Jordan Stahl are definitely going to be walking, but Eric Robinson, 2.7 for 3 years isn't too bad. You're an 83 overall, you play a role on this team, so I'm not against bringing you back to the team. Now with the Carolina Hurricanes, I'm thinking we run the exact same team for the final 2 seasons. So that means we're going to have to trade Dmitry Orlov away, but I'm actually okay with that. He's 35 years old. We could probably get a cheaper option and a younger option, and with the extra money we have, we should be able to sign a pretty solid forward. So we're going to bring in Drew O'Connor on a multi-year deal here, but if we give him 2 years, we can actually sign him for way less than I thought we'd be able to. So can we do 1.6 million for 2 years? So there we go. Drew O'Connor, welcome to the team. All right, Mo Sider, you're one of my last options here. I took out one of the first rounders because I don't think we'll need both first, but I guess we're going to. It doesn't help that we're basically not fitting the trade block whatsoever here. But you know what? This is just the deal we have to do. So I'll do multiple first rounders in Orlov. They're saying no. I'll give you a second rounder as well. It's probably going to take both seconds, but we're going to start with 1 second rounder. We'll throw in both. If they say no to this deal, we might do a little bit of a 3-team trade because I think if we fit their trade block, we can get this done. Or instead of Mo Sider, maybe we just take on Owen Power because Owen Power would fit on the team. It's basically a similar cap hit. They're similar overall, and it's only going to take Orlov a 1st and 2nd round pick. So I think we're better off in a situation like that. So we're going to make one more deal before we head into next season. Then we'll be rocking the exact same team. We're picking up Samuel Bolduc. They want a 7th round pick as well. It'll be a good 3rd pairing defenseman for us. We just need him to play some defensive minutes, and that's what he's going to do for us. So over the past couple of years, we've seen some great improvements across the board. Trevor Zegras, 87 overall. He's got an X factor. Busnevich is up to an 89. Seth Jarvis is a 90 overall. Even Jeff Hendry's up to an 83 overall. The bottom 6 is looking great here. The defense is in a pretty solid spot as well. Ignore the fact that the 3rd pairing has a -3 boost. They're going to battle through that. And then when it comes to goaltending, Kochetkov, 86 overall. He struggled during the regular season, but he was pretty solid in the postseason. So we're hoping that happens again. And for the final 2 years, since we're rocking the exact same team, we're not stopping at the trade deadline. We're just going right to the end of the season. Now this is the best season yet we've seen from the Carolina Hurricanes. They completely turned it around from last season. 58, 18, and 6 record. The offense was incredible, but look at that defense. That's a massive improvement from last season. It dropped basically a half a goal per game. That's going to make the difference once the postseason comes around. Mikko Rantanen, he's back to being a 100-point scorer for us. 48 goals, 57 helpers. Sebastian Aho, 99 points. Seth Jarvis, 93. Svechnikov, 86. Trevor Zegras, 82. He's up to an 87 overall. Look at all those X factors. This team's ready to take over. However, the bottom 6, once again, a bit of a weakness for this team. Is the weak bottom 6 going to hurt us? I don't think too much. With the amount of star talent on this team, we're going to find a way to see some success. We're taking on the Boston Bruins in the 1st round. Let's go on another deep run. It's been far too long since we went on one. Now, last time we took on the Boston Bruins, things didn't really go our way. We won game number 1, but we've dropped back-to-back games after that. One of those games we scored 6 goals and it still wasn't enough, but luckily we're going to be splitting the series. So game 5, whatever you do, do not lose. We're not losing game 5, and we're not going to game 6 elimination. We are going to game 6 elimination. For some reason, this team loves to make 3-2 comebacks because this is the the third straight series in which we've had to make a 3-2 comeback, and we've only made the comeback one time. Are we going to be able to make the comeback in this game? Well, we have a 2-goal lead entering the third period. As long as we play great defense, we're going to be in a good spot. Mikko Rantanen saved the day. We didn't deserve to win this one right here. If we somehow win this series, then we're going to be Stanley Cup champions, because we should have been eliminated right there. There's no reason we should have won game number 6. So it all comes down to one game. Game 7 is going to be settling this one. Boston's picking up the first 2 goals. They're picking up 2 more goals. Are they picking up another 2? Nope, but Mikko Rantanen's finally going to score one. So at least we avoided getting shut out, but we fell in the first round. Nah, this team has been just slowly collapsing after year number 1. Year number 1, everything went great, and it's just been going downhill ever since. Nah, the Tampa Bay Lightning have really been on one in this video. They just keep seeing more success after more success. But Carolina, we got to see some of that success. One last chance to win a Stanley Cup. Let's finish this off in year number 5. So it's kind of funny. In year number 1 with the Carolina Hurricanes, we had to win 16 postseason games in order to win the Stanley Cup, meaning we won 4 series. Since then, we have won 3 series. We have won less series in the past 3 years than we did in season number 1. That tells you how much this team's been struggling. Even though we have all the talent in the world here, we can't win when it matters most. And is it because Kochetkov's in between the pipes for us? Who knows? When we had Freddie Anderson, we were 1 for 1. Now that we have Kochetkov, we're 0 for 3. Are we going to be 0 for 4, or is he finally going to get it done? So Carolina, in your final season, when you have to step up, when the lights are the brightest, 7th in the entire league, you gotta be kidding me. How is Carolina folding in the most important season? Mikko Rantanen, 118 points here, 50 goals, 68 assists. Sebastian Aho, 110 points. Svechnikov, 99. Trevor Zegras, 97. We had so many great scores on this team. And then there was the bottom 6. When it came to goaltending, how'd that look this season? Kochetkov, you were better. 38 wins, 6 shouts, a 908 and a 281. But I need this team to step up. We got to win one more Stanley Cup. We won in year number 1. Let's win in year number 5. I just need a good finish to this video. We can't be losing in the first round again. Like, don't do this to me. Please don't allow me to win in year number 1. And then after year number 1, we can't even win 4 series over the course of 4 seasons. That would be a terrible finish. A 6-3 victory is definitely the way you want to start this. Then a 6-2 victory. The offense is rolling. The defense hasn't been too bad yet. But if we want to certify ourselves as one of the best, we have to sweep the New York Rangers. That's exactly what we're doing. So we got past the New York Rangers. That was great. But you know what? That's not a Stanley Cup. Winning 1 series doesn't do anything for us. We have to lock in for these next 3. Earlier in the video, I attempted a Mo Seider trade. We weren't able to pull it off. So hopefully Mo Seider isn't the man to beat us here. We're winning game number 1. We're winning game 2. What's going to happen in game 3? We're finally going to be losing a game, but we still have a commanding 3-1 series lead. So unless this team has a massive collapse, we should be moving on to the conference finals. But we have Boston. Boston is one team that's been able to shut us down, but no longer. The Carolina Hurricanes are going to get past them, and we're going to finish this video off with a Stanley Cup. All I ask for is 4 more wins. I need 4 more wins from the Carolina Hurricanes here, and then we'll be Stanley Cup champions. Rod Brindamore is going to talk about how he's so proud of us, but I don't care. We got to win the Stanley Cup. I need 4 more wins from the Carolina Hurricanes. If we can win in year number 1, we can win in year number 4. I don't know why I said in year number 4. I guess we could have won in 4 games and swept the Colorado Avalanche, but it's going to be 5 games in year number 5. We started the rebuild off with the Stanley Cup, and we're going to finish with another Stanley Cup here. The Carolina Hurricanes on top once again here. You'll love to see it. And in those big time games, if I told you that our top players showed up, would you really be surprised? Trevor Zegras picking up 31 massive points. Mikko Rantanen 25. Sebastian Aho 25. Jarvis, Buchnevich, Svechnikov, all of them are over a point a game here. They were all elite. And then when it comes to goaltending, who else was elite? Our main man, Kochetkov. He might have gone 1 for 4 in the playoffs, but he did something that Freddie Anderson did, and that's bringing home a Stanley Cup for Carolina. 16 wins, only 2 losses in the postseason at 915 and 249. Bro was virtually perfect, and he helped the Carolina Hurricanes get 1 more. So if the Carolina Hurricanes are able to keep Mikko Rantanen around, and they continue to do a great job building their team, this team could easily be looking at multiple Stanley Cups in the future, but they got to rebuild like stick on the ice.